They don't tell you the truth about getting older. Not in the magazines. Not on TV. Not even in the doctor's office. They smile, they nod, they say, it's normal. But what they really mean is, you're supposed to fade. You're supposed to slow down. Be quiet. Accept pain. Forget things. You're supposed to stop wanting, stop learning, stop being curious. And if you don't, well, that makes you difficult. I believed those lies. For years. I was 67 when I first noticed it. I stopped arguing back. I stopped asking questions at the clinic. I stopped trying new foods. I just stopped. Because I thought that's what aging meant. Until I got tired. Not physically, but mentally, emotionally. Tired of being treated like someone who should stay out of the way. Tired of acting like I didn't matter anymore. And one day, I started paying attention to the subtle lies they tell us about aging. The ones that sound harmless, even comforting, but steal your energy, your confidence, and sometimes your health. Today, I want to tell you the first 3 lies I believed and how much they cost me. Maybe they're costing you too. Small blue diamond lie number 1. Pain is just a normal part of aging. You've heard it. So have I. Sore knees? It's normal. Back pain? That's just what happens. Can't lift your arm without wincing? Comes with age. That's the script we're handed. So when I started having sharp pain in my right hip, I didn't question it. I just grimaced, limped a little, and said, getting old. My doctor gave me a prescription for anti-inflammatories and moved on. He didn't look into it. And I didn't push. That went on for 9 months. 9 months of stiffness. 9 months of waking up sore. 9 months of moving less and less. Until one day, I couldn't get out of a chair without pushing with both arms and groaning. And my grandson, who was 5 at the time, asked me, Grandpa, why do you sound like that? I laughed. But it stuck with me. I realized I was adapting to pain instead of treating it. Finally, I saw a different doctor. She asked more questions. Took more time. Ordered an MRI. That's when I found out the truth. My hip pain wasn't old age. It was sciatica and a deep muscle imbalance from years of improper posture and sitting too long. The solution? Stretching, targeted movement, better shoes, a posture brace. 3 months later, the pain was reduced by 80%. I could walk longer, stand straighter, sleep without waking up stiff. It wasn't a miracle. It was just attention. And yet, I nearly lost the next 10 years of mobility because I believed a lie that everyone repeats. You can't afford to accept every pain as just age. Because sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's fixable. And the longer you ignore it, the harder it is to fix. Don't surrender to pain. Ask more questions. Try new solutions. Get a second opinion. Because sometimes the difference between old and broken and old and moving is a single person who refused to accept discomfort as fate. Small blue diamond lie number 2. You can't build muscle after 65. This lie is everywhere. I remember hearing it on TV, reading it in magazines, hearing it from other retirees. They'd say, it's too late to start now. Your body's too fragile. Muscle just disappears, that's life. So I gave up. For almost 10 years, I didn't lift anything heavier than a casserole dish. Didn't bend unless I had to. Started using a grabber to pick things up, even when I didn't really need it. And slowly, I started to feel weaker. Not just physically, but in my confidence. In how I walked into rooms. How I looked at stairs. How I avoided uneven sidewalks. Then something happened. My grandson, always full of energy, said to me one day, Grandpa, do you want to race? I laughed. Then I said the thing that made me feel cold inside. No, buddy. Grandpa can't run anymore. He looked confused. Why not? And I didn't have an answer. Later that night, I stared at myself in the mirror. My shoulders had narrowed. My arms looked soft. Even the way I stood was more slumped than I remembered. I thought, is this really just age? Or is this me letting go? That week, I joined a local senior fitness group. I was the weakest guy there. I was sore for days, but I kept going. Week after week. Chair squats, wall push-ups, gentle dumbbell lifts. 3 months later, I could carry grocery bags again without panting. I could lift my suitcase without asking for help. But more importantly, I started to stand differently, walk differently, think differently. I started to feel like me again. Science backs this up. Your body still builds new muscle tissue, even in your 70s and 80s, if you give it the signal. The problem isn't that you're old. It's that no one told you how strong you can still be. Don't believe the lie. Don't surrender your strength. Start where you are and fight for every bit of power you still have. Small blue diamond line number 3. It's normal to feel lonely as you age. This one is the most painful because it sounds so harmless, so gentle. We all say it, right? I'm just going through a quiet patch. People are busy. It's okay. I'm used to being alone. I said those things for years. After my wife passed, my home turned silent. At first, the silence was comforting. Then, it became a weight. The TV was always on in the background. I told myself it helped the house feel alive. But I knew the truth. I was lonely, and I didn't know how to say that out loud, because I believed the lie. That loneliness was just part of this stage in life. But the truth is it's not. And it's not harmless either. Loneliness is one of the biggest predictors of early death. It affects your heart, your brain, your immune system. It steals years, not just from your calendar, but from your joy. And yet, we treat it like weather, something to endure. That changed the day I got a letter from an old friend. He invited me to coffee. We hadn't spoken in 12 years. And in that one meeting, I felt something spark back to life in me. We started meeting weekly, and soon we started inviting others. Now, we have a small circle of 6 men, all over 65, who meet every Wednesday. We talk. We laugh. We remember who we are. Loneliness didn't disappear because I waited. It disappeared because I reached out. Because someone had the courage to break the silence. So if you're sitting in a quiet house, wondering who you are now, know this. You're still here. And connection is still possible. But it won't knock on your door. You have to open it. If you've come this far, thank you. Because what I'm about to share now is heavier, more personal, and, in many ways, the reason I'm still alive. The first 3 lies I believed made me weaker, quieter, lonelier. But these last 2? They almost cost me everything. They're the lies people rarely say out loud. The ones you live with in silence. The ones that sound like truth because they're repeated so often, you stop questioning them. But they are lies. And the truth, painful as it is, can save your life. Small blue diamond line number 4. Memory loss is inevitable, just part of getting old. This lie scared me the most, because I saw it happen to others before me. My brother started forgetting things in his late 60s. He'd miss appointments, get lost on familiar roads, mix up names. Everyone said, that's just age. When it started happening to me, I didn't say a word. Not at first. I forgot a name during a conversation, then a birthday, then where I left my keys, and then one morning, I poured orange juice into my coffee cup. I laughed, but inside, I panicked. I started wondering, is this it? Am I losing myself? That fear makes you silent, because you don't want people to notice. You don't want to be treated like a child. So you withdraw. You speak less. You joke about it, senior moments, while dying a little inside. And because of that silence, you never find out the truth. Not all memory loss is dementia, and not all memory loss is permanent. My forgetfulness, part of it was anxiety, part of it was poor sleep, part of it was low vitamin B12 and dehydration. Yes, aging affects the brain, but it doesn't mean decline is inevitable. What helped me? I started walking daily. I cut down on sugar and alcohol. I took B-complex supplements. I did crossword puzzles, not because they're magic, but because they made me feel engaged. But more than that, I started talking, asking questions, being curious again. Because the brain is like a muscle, silence shrinks it. And the cruel irony is, the more you fear memory loss, the more likely you are to isolate, and isolation feeds decline. If you're forgetting things, talk to someone. Get tested. Rule out treatable causes. Start challenging your mind again. Because your memories deserve more than quiet surrender. They deserve protection. And you're not too old to fight for them. Small blue diamond line number 5. There's nothing left to look forward to. This one is the quietest killer of them all. It doesn't come from one moment. It comes from years. Years of sameness. Of losing people you love. Of routines that used to mean something. Now just filling time. One morning, I woke up, sat at the edge of my bed, and asked myself, What's next? And I didn't have an answer. I had no trip planned, no one to call, no book I was excited to finish, no story to tell. That day, I realized I wasn't just tired, I was empty. Not sad, not depressed, just blank. And that, I've learned, is the beginning of giving up. Because the biggest threat to people over 65 isn't a diagnosis. It's apathy. It's waking up and thinking, why bother? But here's what changed it for me. A man named Richard. Richard was 82. He lived 2 houses down. He made birdhouses in his garage. One day I was walking by, and he waved me in. We talked for hours. He showed me his collection. He had over 70 birdhouses, each one painted differently. Some with jokes, some with poetry, one shaped like a ship. He said, I started after my wife died. I needed something that didn't ask questions, just wood in my hands. And then he said, you don't find purpose, you build it. That stuck with me. So I made a list. Not a bucket list, a today list. Things I was curious about, people I wanted to reconnect with, skills I once tried and failed, places I hadn't seen in years. Then I picked one. I started baking. It wasn't good at first, but I laughed. I experimented. I shared bread with my neighbor's kids. And suddenly, the days had flavor again. Having something to look forward to isn't childish. It's vital, even if it's small. A new book, a walk with a friend, a project with your hands, a letter to someone you love. It gives shape to the day, hope to the week, and meaning to a life that's still unfolding. Don't let the lie convince you it's over. If you're breathing, you're still building. The truth behind the lies. We're not given a script for how to age. We're handed myths. That pain is normal. That weakness is inevitable. That loneliness is acceptable. That memory loss is guaranteed. That joy has an expiration date. But all of it, every single lie, is just that. A way to make us smaller, quieter, forgettable. And I'm here to tell you, you're not done. Your story doesn't end because you hit 65, or 75, or 90. It ends the moment you start believing you don't matter. So write the next chapter. Say what needs to be said. Start what you thought was too late. Move your body. Use your mind. Find joy again. You're not too old to change. You're too valuable not to. Let them believe the lies. You've got more to do.